What's up guys, it's Roger and welcome back to the channel. And today we're playing some more Trials of Osiris, this weekend on Javelin 4, which is nice to me because that's my favorite map in the entire game. It has a lot of different good ranges that we can use very effectively, especially on a Blink Hunter like we're doing today. So why don't we go ahead and get straight into this build. Now, this is one of my favorite builds, if not my favorite build to run on my Blink Hunter. A lot of times people ask me, what exotics do you like? And this one right here, the Shinobu's Vow, is actually my favorite. You get 2 skip grenades, and when you do throw them out, you get energy back when they do damage, which is pretty easy because these skip grenades, they track enemies. They're like little electric bugs. They go straight inside the enemy's booty hole and do a lot of damage. And not only that, but we actually have jolting nades on today, so it jolts your enemies, so you can get amplified off that when you get kills with it. Very good stuff. We'll talk about that a little more when we get to the ARC 3.0. First, let's break down these mods a little bit. I am going to be using a strand gun, as you'll see soon, so I do have some targeting and unflinching for that. I have on firepower, heavy-handed, and Reaper. Of course, as always, pause if you want to read any of these mods more in depth. These are just the 3 ways that we can make orbs of power. When I pick those up, I'm going to use my Innervation, my Orbs Restoration, and my Absolution mods so I can get a bunch of ability energy back. Finishing that off, we do have 2 bomber mods, so we get around 20 to 25% of our grenade energy back every time we use a dodge, and when you can hold 2 grenade charges anyways, that's a very good thing to have. First off, I'm sitting on the kept confidence here. I was actually using the Quicksilver Storm you're going to see early on in the gameplay, and then later on I switched over because I just wasn't feeling it. Like, everyone is meta abusing, as always, of course, but just in a way that it's really tough to use that auto on this map this weekend. It was just not feeling that great. So like, you know what? Let's just go for a hand cannon, one that I think is probably the very best in PvP right now, which is the Kept Confidence. I think this thing is the best PvP hand cannon, 140 I should say, at the moment. It's extremely solid. I like Enhanced Killing Wind and Enhanced Eye of the Storm on mine with accurized rounds, full bore, and I believe I do have a range masterwork. Obviously you can see 81 range on this thing. Feels absolutely crispy. Head rush is a fine origin trait, not something you really focus on, but when it does proc, it can be pretty nice actually. And then I wanted to go and pull out a different shotgun that I haven't used in a while, and I was looking around and I looked at my Matador and I was like, man, I really love this Matador, but I just stopped using it for some reason. You know, I was just using so many different shotguns. I don't often actually have a energy shotgun when I'm using my Hunter, so I decided to pull this thing out, had some fun with it. You know, it's good to have a precision shotgun right now because you want the most range you can to actually face off against those conditional crushing pussies. And if you're like, Roger, conditional isn't that strong. I mean, we need something in the game that can counter these wells and bubbles. Cool. You know, just because you don't understand something or agree with it doesn't make it not true. I can tell you that I was fucking piping your mom last night with my 4-inch wheeler, but if you don't like it, cool. It doesn't make it untrue anymore. I still slammed your mom, you know? So let's just get past that right now, and this is something that can counter that shotgun quite well because of the long range it has, and it also just has an amazing gun feel to it. Over on the ARC 3.0 here, I am using the Gathering Storm, mostly because you just don't get an ARC staff in 3v3s. It just takes too long. The cooldown is way too long. You can't really get them unless you're really fragging out and you have like 100 int. I bet you could make it happen, but it's not going to happen often enough to make it worth it. Over here, we're using the classic combo of Gambler's Dodge, Combination Blow, and Lethal Current, one of my favorite combos to use on Arc Hunter, especially when I'm doing something aggressive like shotgun plays, right? Because what's going to come out of this, right? Okay, well first, we have our Gambler's Dodge. So when you dodge near an enemy, it gives you your melee ability back. Well, our melee ability is Combination Blow, and when you get a kill with Combination Blow, it's going to heal you a little bit, but also give you class ability energy back. So these 2 abilities go into each other when giving you energy. But not only that, when you do use that dodge, you're going to proc your Lethal Current. There's not a cooldown on this, so when you kill somebody with this, you can immediately dodge again, and then re-proc Lethal Current and take out a second enemy, if not a third if you can get the chance on that. Now on top of that, we do have on Flow State. So whenever we kill a jolted target, it's going to make us amplified. The 2 ways we can make a target jolted are 1, with our Combination Blow Lethal Current combo right here, right? On top of that, we also have Spark of Shock, which is going to give us jolting nades like I told you earlier. So if you kill an enemy with your nade, or after killing them after the nade damages them and they are jolted, then there you go, your Flow State procs, you get a bunch of extra good stuff from that. You can read down there, while you are amplified, your dodge recharges more quickly, and when it says more quickly, it means in a few seconds. Like your dodge will come up in around 10 seconds when you are amplified. After that, you are more resilient wall dodging, and your reload speed is greatly increased. Some good stuff right there. For the rest of our fragments, we have some pretty simple stuff. Like I always tell you, run Spark of Haste. This is going to give you plus 30 to your resilience, recov, and mobility while sprinting, which of course I like to run a lower mobility because I like to always have 100 recov and always have 100 discipline, especially on a build like this that is very dependent on our grenades. So if you want a higher mobile, you can go ahead and go for that, but when you're running for a few seconds, this is going to go to 50, right? And that's going to go 60, 70, and 80 because you have Spark of Haste. On top of that, whenever you are amplified, you're getting your dodge back up so quickly anyways that you really don't need a high mobility stat. Now over here we have Spark of Recharge, so when you're critically wounded, your melee and grenade energy generate more quickly, which is just one more way to get our abilities back up. And then I do have on Spark of Volts here, just because I didn't quite have enough stat lines with all my armor, so I could keep that 100 Recup and Discipline, so I went ahead and slapped this on. But if you already have your stat line taken care of, you can go ahead for something like Spark of Instinct. Is pretty good for when you're doing aggressive plays. You can go for something like Spark of Momentum. I actually like quite a bit because it's basically like having Slide Shot built into your special weapons, and on top of that you do get a little melee energy back. If you really have the good stats, you could go for Spark of Focus. That's just another way to get your ability regeneration even higher up. And last but not least, I would say Spark of Ions is always a solid choice because getting those Ionic Traces is just going to instantly give you ability energy back, which of course we love to have on a build like this. I think we have everything covered, but if you do have any questions, please feel free to leave those in the comments section or join the Blinkville Discord server. I'm going to have that linked in the top right and in the description. I'd love to see you in there. We're not always talking about D2. Usually we're just kind of shooting the shit on any odds and ends that we might want to talk about in life. Before we do get into the gameplay, I want to say if you don't leave me a like or subscribe at any point, I very much appreciate that. And if you want to go that one step further and join my channel memberships, that is my Little Puffs or my Puff for People, 2 different tiers for 2 different price points. You can go ahead and do that. It is the most direct way to support the channel so I can bring you guys the best content possible every single week. But all that said, I think we're ready to go ahead and get in this gameplay breakdown. So without further ado, let's go ahead and blink on into it. So this is my very first match of the week, so I was going in with low expectations. You know, I usually just go in, I don't warm up first, I just go and play the game, and then my very first match, what do I see on the leaderboards? You know, there's Frostbolt, and luckily for once he was on my team. I think it's the first time in so many times when I've actually had him in my matchmaking that he was actually on my team. For some reason, the guy is always on the other team, you know, probably for matchmaking type reasons. They're like, ooh, good players, let's put them apart so we can balance these teams out. Whatever, I guess that makes sense. But I have never had him on my team, so it was fun to actually have the guy on my team. So if you actually do want to see this match right here from his perspective, you can go watch his video that he posted earlier today because this was his first match of the day too. So, you know, that was cool to see him in there. I mean, I'm not going to say that I out-fragged him, but I'll let the leaderboard at the end speak for itself. Nah, but for real. Yeah, I told the guy, you know, he featured one of my videos, used one of my builds like last week or something, and I was like, hey, you know, if you want me to teach you Blink, that's all you got to say, pal. And then, you know, he didn't reply. So I left him another comment. I was like, I feel like fate keeps bringing us together, Mr. Henry. His name is Henry, right? I feel like I know that. I was like, you know, at this point, the universe is just trying to tell you that you need to learn Blink. So let Papa Raj in there. I'll put my little fishy tentacles in your face, and we can teach you how to blink around, big boy. But, you know, we'll see if that goes anywhere. It'd be pretty funny, though, wouldn't it? To see Frostbolt blinking around with me tutoring him. I think he would go from, you know, cool guy to the coolest of dudes. So we'll see about that. But that was pretty funny that my first match of the day was that, so I had to show that to you guys. Anyways, like I was saying in the intro, you can see here I was using Quicksilver Storm, and it was doing fine, but it's just hard to use anything that's like not a hand cannon and whatnot. I know the auto rifles are good on controller, right? And auto rifles are good on M&K too, especially if you're hitting those absolute like beams on somebody's head. You automatically start on their head, or you get to their head within like 2 to 3 bullets, you will fry somebody. And you can see that when I use this thing, but at the same time, it's not going to be as fast if I can just go boop, 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 and like 3-tap somebody. You know what I mean? The team shots can't be as good, but something like this is where auto rifles flourish. Titan shields. We hate them, right? They put them up and they're Great Wall of China's in front of their face, but it's see-through, and then they just start shooting their little ectoplasm bullets at you. Well, you can just do this. You can fry their bussy, like calamari, while you also fry the shield. Take out the last guy there for a nice little round win. It's some good stuff. But you can't really do that with something like a hand cannon. Sure, you can break the shields, they have less health now, but like this, I can just completely fry it. With less than, I don't know, I'd say 2/3 of the mag on this Quicksilver fries a Titan shield. So that's fun stuff. That's the stuff I kind of look for. You can see I fried this last guy too. Took me a second to get my aim on point, so I was saying here, because if I would have got my aim on point faster on this last guy, I would have killed him, and he threw a Witherhorde at my feet because he didn't want to play the game. You know? He said, I don't want to play the game today. I want to put down a pool of absolute bussy juice and hope people walk into it. Well, luckily for him, I brought my GPS with me and it told me 3 feet ahead, and that walked me straight into the bussy juice pool, so unfortunately I did die to it. But unfortunately for him, I was able to map him pretty well with my shots and take him out as well. You can do stuff like that. Remember, you have a very good lunge distance when you have lethal current procced, and you're going to go through those Titan shields quite well. At the same time, you're gonna go through those Titan shields quite well. Roger, did you just have a fucking glitch in the Matrix? Why'd you say that sentence twice? Well, because it's good and bad. One, it's good because you just punched that Titan straight in his bus. Two, it's kind of bad because you just went through a Titan shield. And what happens when you go through a Titan shield? Yeah, you get cooked harder than the Thanksgiving turkey. So you gotta be careful of that stuff. But if they're already low health, like I knew that guy was, well, it's gonna go ahead and bake them pretty good. So it can be very useful in scenarios like that. This guy right here, you saw, he was already low. Why didn't I just kill him with my gun? I could have slid in and just taken him out. Well, I wanted to get amplified. So you see there, I throw in my nade, I take him out, then I'm instantly amplified. Watch my energy in the bottom left. Did you see how fast my dodge energy was flying up there? And by the next round, I already had my dodge back up. As well as the fact that, remember, we do have bomber mods. So at the end of a round, I would urge you, if you do have amplified, then what you want to do is go ahead and actually use your dodge to proc your bomber mods to get some grenade energy back. And then your amplified is gonna zoom your dodge energy right back up anyways, and by the time you get to lane in the next round, you're gonna have your dodge. So use those abilities to feed into each other, especially with amplified. It is some great stuff. So like I was down there, but I knew on my radar that this other guy was behind me, so I had to flick around and get him. Missed my second shotgun shot, but I was able to use a very nice lethal current punches, just take that guy out very easily. We love to see that kind of stuff. I will say, I'm on the hand cannon now, by the way, so you can see that. That plays with the actual captain confidence here, just how crispy this thing is. Not when you're 1v2ing like that, and then my teammate was sitting behind me. I guess maybe he didn't want to bump me or something, but you know, he wasn't supplying any teams as well. Luckily, this teammate hit a very nice snipe. I throw in my nade there. It starts getting ticks of damage on the guy inside of his rift in front of me. I blink up top, and then I use this wall as my good cover, and then right when he starts pushing up, I go ahead, peek around it, and map him very well with the Matador shotgun. I do have 1-2 punch on my Matador shotgun, not by choice, but by, you know, RNG, because that's kind of how D2 goes, right? You get perpetual motion in one slot, you cream your little pants, and then 2 seconds later, they're like, yeah, you ordered 1-2 punch, right? No, I didn't. That's like going to the ice cream parlor and ordering fucking pistachio. 2 people order pistachio, people with 3 brain cells and people that are 85 years old, and a lot of times those 2 things often cross over with each other. So you can very well bet your bottom dollar that little Raji isn't walking to the ice cream parlor and buying a bunch of pistachio ice cream, and it's the same thing when we're talking about a perk like 1-2 punch on my shotgun. Why would I ever order it? It's disgusting. And you know, let me just put this out there, because I don't want to be misconstrued by the pistachio lovers. I like pistachios, all right? You crack them open, you get a little green nut. I love nut, you know? I love slurping up nut. Hold on, don't take that out of context. It's not important right now. The point is, I like pistachios, but it's not an ice cream flavor, all right? It's not. You know what flavors of pudding there are? You got like chocolate, vanilla, banana, sure. Tapioca? What the fuck is that? What the fuck is tapioca? I don't know. You probably don't know. Guess who does? A lady named Gertrude. Why is her name Gertrude? Because she's fucking ancient. Hey, look, capture point trials coming into effect right here. Had to show you guys this clip because it was just so funny to me. Absolutely cooked that second kid, would have clutched up the round, would have finished the game. But this guy, who has only won 2 rounds on the entire match, gets to go ahead and get a Well of Radiance before I have my super. Well, it's 4-2, and I've been fragging out the entire time. But single pop supers, shutdown supers, don't have a cooldown that is equivalent to something like a single pop bubble or Well of Radiance, because why not? So then he just gets to put that down and win the entire round off of just sitting in a circle. Well, he actually would have, but my teammate actually did get his Blade Barrage, and then, you know, traded because he got shot as he was casting it. Had to bag that guy because all he would do is freeze and then backpedal with a fucking fusion. Hey, you ever seen Melee Whiff? Here's one. That's fun, right? That was lethal current, by the way. That was a lethal current punch. I got on top of him. I looked straight down at his disgusting little cranium. You know how babies have a soft spot in the fucking middle of their top of their head when they're born? That kid's never went away. I could have pressed my thumb in there like a big pot of Play-Doh and absolutely rearranged his scrotum brain. But instead, no, my fist just didn't lunge forward, so I didn't get to shoot him or punch him or anything because the gods of Bungie just said, screw you, you know? Just go really rock'em sock'em robot your own rectum. That's what they said to me. More capture point trials. Guess I should have walked over there sooner, but I had that guy in the middle, the inside of the map that I was taking care of too. But we can see here, even if you throw a nice nade, you hit a heck ton of headshots, only headshots there, you just still get punished because someone else is able to sit in a circle better than me. Sit in a circle with his Layman. I'm losing it, guys. Look here, Layman again. So much fun. He shot that one bullet, and now I can't play the game unless I go in here, luckily get a combination blow kill. There you go, Fry's boyfriend's bussy. They're in a polyamorous relationship, so here comes the third stooge, walking in here, miss one shot, put this one straight into his little umbilical cord fucking outie belly button. Who the hell has outie belly buttons in 2023? Grow up, bro. And then I slap them all down. And that's been the constant theme of the day, just like it's been the constant theme of trials for the past 17 years. You either 1v3 or you're probably going to lose. And it's frustrating. But hey, I am glad it's on Javelin 4 this weekend. Like I said in the intro, this is my favorite map in the entire game, just because it has so many good sight lines, and it has not a lot of openness to it, you know? There's certain maps where you're just kind of stuck in the open sometimes, and no matter what you do, there's an angle on you. And when it comes to those maps, it just gets really difficult to even play cover, because the cover isn't made correctly. But this map, there's so many different pieces of cover, and they're all made to a perfect point to where you can do so many different like fun angles and have fun peak fights with enemies. And I really like that, as well as you can use a lot of different types of weapons on this map. You can use a shotgun plate like this, but at the same time, these hallways are perfect for 140 hand cannons. If you go a little farther back on the middle of the map, you can use 120s very well, as well as the fact that 120s, pulses, snipers, and pulse rifle, or scout rifles, work really well on the outside of the map. And now that we have capture point trials, although I hate the actual capture point, right? I hate losing because someone's standing in the circle. What I do like about capture points is the fact that it makes everyone use every part of the map. You can't just sit on the inside of the map anymore. And that's what people used to do, right? Every round, almost every single round of Jav 4 would just be people sitting where I'm at right now, and on Rocket, right? And on Hop Up. That people would just sit there all day, because they didn't have to move. But once they introduced cap points, that is the actual nice thing. It forced people to start playing different parts of the map if they didn't just want to lose to the circle standards, I should say. But, you know, the circle standing I hate is really when, like, I'm in a 1v3 situation, you know, like right here, like both my teammates died. Let's pretend there was still like 2 more enemies left alive on the enemy team, you know, and then I was just like standing there. It's like, oh, cool. Guess I'll just lose now because you can't challenge that. I would love to see like a mechanic where if you were in a 1v3 situation, you know, or if you were, how should I put this? If you have less people alive on your team, then the enemy team shouldn't be able to cap. The only team that should be able to cap in a round of trials is the team that has less people alive, because then you kind of need that crutch, right? You kind of need that extra help to win the round because now you're down in players. You know what I mean? Like, that one actually makes sense, but then again, making sense is not a Bungie specialty. The only thing they do that makes sense is fire half their company when they waste all their billions of dollars. Anyways, we're on the last clip here, so I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Again, if you want to leave me a like, subscribe, I'd very, very much appreciate that. And if you want to see another build video, go ahead on the end screen. I will have my build video from last week linked for you guys, a nice little Warlock build. And if you want to see another Warlock build for this weekend of Trials, make sure you are subscribed, because I'm going to have that uploaded to you guys tomorrow around 12 p.m. EST. All that being said, that is it for me today. Really appreciate you guys. Hope you have a great weekend and the rest of your week after that. And that is it for me today. So as always, have a great day, Guardians.